Dear students, welcome to the course of Architecture and Town Planning. I'm your teacher Ravinder Kumar Khani, Assistant Professor, Department of Architecture and Planning, NID University of Engineering and Technology, Karachi, Sindh, Pakistan. Today our topic of discussion is Karachi, a profile for town planning, or it is a case study of the town planning in Karachi. First of all, let's have a background. The city of Karachi is discussed in previous lecture. However, still many aspects of this megacity remain undiscovered. In today's lecture, I would explain these unearthed issues through a profile of Karachi. The profile include the basic facts related to growth, population, economy, and urban geography, history and development, dominant environmental issues, housing and transport, water supply, sewerage, solid waste management, law and order, and state responses to the issues. Karachi is also known as the city of lights and the bride of the cities. The impetus of to Karachi's growth originally came from its role as a seaport serving the Indus River and Punjab region. The development of air travel subsequently increased Karachi's importance. Karachi is the seventh largest urban agglomeration and largest city in the Muslim world. Karachi has grown rapidly in the last few decades, and the metropolitan area has more than 23 million people with a population density of over 24,000 people per square kilometer or 63,000 people per square mile. Concerning population, Karachi is the most linguistically, ethnically, and religiously diverse city in Pakistan. By the time Pakistan gained independence in 1947, the population was around 4 lakh persons, from which around 100,000 were Sindhi and Baloch Muslims, 2 lakh and 50,000 Hindus, and 50,000 Anglo-Indian Parsis and Goan Catholics. Karachi has historically been home to a large number of Gujarati Muslims who were very early settlers to the area. Large Gujarati Muslim communities in Karachi are the Chipa, Ghanchi, Memon, Khoja, Bohra, and Tai. After the 1950s, most Hindu and Sikh left Karachi for India, Philippines, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, UK, USA, France, Germany, and other Western European countries. But small communities of Anglo-Indian, Parsis, and Goan Catholic remain in this city. Many Muslim refugees came to Karachi after independence from India, and their descendants now are living here. And it forms a very big socio-political group in the city. They include people speaking different languages, that is Urdu, Gujarati, Marathi, Konkani, Rajasthani, Bangla, and Malabari. This is why Karachi today has many South Asian communities. Various Bengalis and Biharis migrated to Karachi from Bangladesh during early 1980s and 1990s. There are also some recent Rohingya Muslim refugees from Burma. The other small communities of Muslim refugees settled in Karachi from Uganda, Iran, Arab, Filipinos, and Sinhalese from the Sri Lanka. The second largest ethnic group are the Pashtuns from Afghanistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Fatah, and Balochistan, who have been in the city for decades. Karachi has the largest concentration of urban Pashtun in the world, including 50,000 registered Afghan refugees and a large number of Western expatriates, including Polish, American, British. After floods of Sindh in 2010, large number of Sindhi-speaking communities of Hindus, Sikh, as well as Muslims also settled in Karachi. The current reality of Karachi is no ethnic group dominates in the city. The population is almost entirely Muslim, but there are almost also small Christian, Hindu, Parsi, Buddhist, and Jain minorities. The local Hindu and Sikh population is of Sindhi origin. Most of the Muslims are of Indian, Pakistani, and Sindhi origin, except Makranis and Shidis who have black African ancestry. They originated from an era of slave trading during Arab rule. The Christian minority are of Indo-Pakistani and Anglo-Saxon origin, while others are descended from the Portuguese or other European ethnic groups. Concerning economy of the Karachi, the annual GDP estimated at 113 billion in 2014 and projected to be 193 billion in 2025 at a growth rate of 5.5% per annum. The city accounts about half of the total collection of the Federal Board of Revenue, out of which approximately half are the customs duty and sales tax on imports. Karachi produces about 30% of value added in large scale manufacturing, that is 20% of the GDP. The World Bank identified Karachi as the business friendly and most inexpensive city in the world. Now let's look at the retail geography, flora and fauna of the Karachi. Concerning the urban geography of Karachi, the city is bounded in north Khirtar National Park and mountainous range. In the northeast, there is a Mahal Kohistan Wildlife Sanctuary, city of Thana Bula Khan, and industrial town of the Nuriabad. In its southeast, there is a city of Dabeji and Dharo, which pumping station that supplies water to Karachi. Further southeast lies in the historical city of Thatta and Makli graveyard, visited regularly by the local Karachites. In the south, there is a Indus River Delta and various islands. In southwest. There is the Arabian Sea. In southwest, uh, there is the city of Hub Chowki, and which supplies water to Karachi via Hub Dam. And there is a Ganani ship breaking yard in west mountainous range of the Balochistan. Here you can see map showing the urban geography of the city. This is the city boundary, and then there are different areas around the city. Now, Karachi is built on a coastal plain with scattered rocky outcroppings, hills, and coastal marshy lands. Coastal mangrove forests grow in the brackish waters around the Karachi harbour and farther southeast toward the expansive Indus River Delta. West of the Karachi is the Cape Mounts, locally known as Ras Muri. It is an area characterized by the sea cliffs, rocky sandstone promontories, and underdeveloped beaches. Within the city of Karachi are two small hilly ranges, the Khasa Hills and Mulri Hills, which lie in the northwest and act as a barrier between North Islamabad town and Orangi town. The landscape characteristics of Karachi contains barren hills of the larger Khirtar range and have a maximum elevation of 528 meters or 1,732 feet. Between the hills are the wide coastal plains interspersed with dry river beds and water channels. Karachi has developed around the Malir River and the Lyari River. Then Karachi's city limits include several islands, that is Baba and Bhit Islands, Oyster Rocks, and Manora Island, which is now connected to the mainland by the thin 12-kilometer long strip known as Sandspit. The Malir River, a seasonal stream, passes through the eastern part of the city, and Lyari River, also seasonal, runs through the densely populated northern section. Some ridges and isolated hills occur in north and the east. The Karachi is also described as the city which is divided into sections for those able to afford to live in planned localities with access to urban amenities and those who live in the unplanned communities with inadequate access to such services. Karachi harbour is protected from the storms by Kyamari Island, Manora Island and Oyster Rocks, which together block the greater part of the harbour entrance in the west. A low-lying coastal strip runs along the shore of the harbour. Away from the coast, the ground rises gently to the north and east to form a large plain from 5 to 120 feet or 1.5 to 37 meters above the sea level, on which the city of Karachi is built. The most striking aspect of Karachi's urban geography is the west to east parallel alignment of the four arterial road known as Nishtar Road, formerly called Lawrence Road, Mohammad Ali Jinnah Road, or formerly known as Bandar Road or Bandargah Road, and then there was Shara Liaquat or Frere Road and Aya Chandigarh Road or earlier Macleod Road. Beginning up at the Meriwether Tower in the vicinity of the port, these roads run through the center of the city. Several roads such as Napier Road, Dr. Ziauddin Ahmad Road, Kacheri Road, and the Garden Road cut perpendicularly across these arteries from north to south. The old town lies near the port, the north of the Amejna Road, with extension stretching along the material roads for over a mile. Unplanned, it is reminiscent of the medieval towns of the Middle East or Europe. East of the old town are such districts such as Brick Cantonment, the civil lines, that is a residential area for the senior civil service officers, and the Sadar Bazaar. This area is planned on the checkerboard pattern and show European characteristics. Beyond this stretch, several radial roads along which growth has taken the form of the neighborhood units. Each unit is laid out with the straight, broad roads connected by smaller streets. Here you can see the map of Karachi showing the urban settlements, landmarks, and the road network of the city. Now, the urban geography and land use pattern of the city are quite complex due to very large scale. In central area, multitude is of the residential property within which all the functions are distributed. There is a marked concentration of commercial buildings at the western ends of Amitina Road and Aya Chandigarh Road. The wholesale businesses are located in the Old Town, retail businesses along Amitina Road and in Sadar Bazaar, and the government offices are located on Shara Liaquat. The outer areas are dominated by dormitory suburbs interspersed with a scattering of cantonments, agricultural tracts, salt works, airport, railway station, and marshing yards. The cityscape of Karachi is confined to an area north of the China Creek prior to the independence, although the seaside area of Clifton was also developed as a posh locale under the British. The historic area formed the oldest portion of Karachi and contained its most important monument and government buildings. North of the historic core is largely middle-class district of Nazmabad and upper middle-class North Nazmabad, which were developed in 1950s. To the east of the historic core is the area known as Defence, an expensive upscale suburb. The city proper has old and decayed buildings occupied by the members of the middle income and lower income groups. Here you can see the map of Karachi showing these buildings and the skyline view of the Karachi from the hill park. You can see these figures. The architectural and building typology in Karachi is diverse based on the international influences, trends, and contemporary needs and learning of the local architects. The architecture consists different styles such as modern architecture, postmodern architecture, high-tech architecture, and contemporary architecture. Here you can see another map. Farther from the city center are the modern bungalows occupied by the richer person. The outer zone is occupied by the workers. Karachi has a variety of types of buildings. The central area contains apartment bungalows, barracks, and multi-story buildings. The outer areas are characterized by the bungalows, blocks of flats, and quarters, that are streets of small houses. Buildings of the British period were constructed with stone and western style of architecture. Other stone buildings in the central city show a blending of eastern and western styles and have towers, domes, pillars, arches, hanging balconies, and rectangular courtyards. The buildings in the outer areas are built of cement blocks and with few exceptions they show no uniformity in design. Some follow contemporary North American design while other buildings incorporate features of traditional Muslim architecture. Now the name of the city has been variously called by different communities with different names. Here you can see these names, that's Karachi, Karachi. I mean, depend on the language of the people. All its names are derived from the Sindhi name of the original settlement, and that initially stood on the spot known as Kalachi Jogot, which means the village of Kalachi. In 1729 AD, Hindu traders moved here from the decaying port of Kharak Bandar nearby. Kalachi Jogot was trading across the Arabian Sea by the early 18th century. The name Karachi was used for the first time in the Dutch document from 1742, in which a merchant ship, the Ridderkerk, is shipwrecked wrecked near the original settlement. The port was constructed by Hindu merchants in early 18th century and they formed their settlements with two gateways leading to the sea and the Lyari River, now known as Kharadar and the Mithadar. The door of the settlement towards the Lyari River is known as Mithadar and door towards the sea is known as Kharadar. Furthermore, in addition to these settlements, there were different villages of Lyari, Khadda, Machimiani, and Shidi village in the surroundings. The Talpur Amirs of Sindh gained Karachi from the Khan of Kalat in 1795 and erected a permanent fort walls around the site of existing merchant settlements of Karachi to give them protection from the intruders and invaders. The city continued to be ruled by the Talpur Amirs until it was occupied by the forces under the command of John Kane in February 1839. That is the Karachi history and town planning. See, the British East India Company captured Karachi on 3rd February 1839 after HMS Wellesley opened fire and quickly destroyed the local mud fort at Manora. The town was annexed to British India in 18 1843 after Sindh was captured in the Battle of Miani by the Major General Charles James Napier. Karachi was then made the capital of the Sindh and the British developed its harbour for shipping local agricultural produce to England. Now, furthermore, on Karachi history and town planning, new businesses began to open and town begins growing in population. The city became British Army headquarters. The city divided between local and the foreign people's settlements. Here you can see there are different blocks were made. When the military cantonment was created, it became a white town. The native town to the northwest was made larger to accommodate the growing mercantile population. In 1843, a river steamer service was introduced between Karachi and Multan, about 500 miles up to the Indus. The port facilities were improved from 1854 onwards. In 1864, direct telegraph communications were established with London and with the interior, and the first telegraphic message was sent from South Asia to England from Karachi. Public building works were undertaken, including the construction of Fair Hall in 1865, and the later Empress Market was constructed. Here is the building, the Fair Hall, the Empress Market, the first major building constructed by the British in the city. With the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, the importance of Karachi grew and it became a full-fledged seaport. By 1873, it possessed an efficient and well-managed harbour. Karachi was connected directly with the hinterland when the railway line was extended from Kotri in 1878 to join the Delhi-Punjab railway system at Multan, and major public buildings were constructed. By 1880, the population was mostly comprised of indigenous Baloch and Sindhis. In 1886, the Karachi Port Trust was established at the Port Authority. The Punjab emerged as a granary of the India in 1890s, and Karachi became the region's principal outlet. So from here, the produce was sent to the England. The further development of Karachi's history in town planning, the British development projects in Karachi resulted in an influx of economic migrants from the several ethnicities and religions, including the Anglo-British, Hindus, Chinese, Marathis, Gujaratis, Parsis, Marathas, Goan Christians, Arabs, and Jews, among others. They all come to the city of Karachi, and population of Karachi grows a lot. Karachi's newly arrived Jewish population established in the city's first synagogue in 1893. And here you can see the pictures of this synagogue and the tower and the inside of the synagogue. And this was the map that's showing you the map of Karachi in 1870 and 1890. Furthermore, here you can see the maps of 1922 and 1944. By 1899, Karachi had become the largest wheat exporting port in the east. By the end of the 19th century, Karachi transformed from a small group of fishing village to a principal port city for the Indus River region. Known as the father of modern Karachi, Mayor Seth Harchand Rai Bishandas led the local government to improve sanitary conditions as well as major infrastructure works in 1911 onwards. By 1914, Karachi became the largest grain exporting port of the British Empire, and by 1924, Karachi had the first main airport of Southeast Asia. Furthermore, the Karachi grows a lot after partition or after independence. The city became the provincial capital of Sindh in 1936. In 1947, Karachi became the capital of Pakistan, premier port, and center for the industry, business, and administration. The city became focus for resettlement of the Muslim refugees from India until the 1960s. This transformed the city's demographics and the economy. The magnates were given all the key jobs in the bureaucracy, made education policy, they have made the education policy and got all the key positions in the government. The Rawalpindi became the interim capital in 1959 before the capital permanently moved to Islamabad in 1969. Now let's see the Karachi during 70s decade. Between 1958 to 1970, Karachi's role as the capital of Sindh was ceased due to a one-unit program enacted. However, Karachi maintained its prominence or preeminence as Pakistan's business and industrial hub. Many housing societies came into being in the city, which changed the settlement patterns in the city. These settlements include Pakistan Employees Cooperative Housing Society (PECHS) with its various blocks, extensions, shopping and commercial and recreation areas, and road network. The settlements made by different societies in Karachi were Dehri Mercantile Society, Karachi Memon Society, Rohil Khand Society, Kathiawar Society, Sindhi Muslim Societies. So in 70s decade, these different housing schemes were developed, and this is marked in the map in the red. Furthermore, in addition, there were many colonies, nagars, villages, paras, and housing quarters developed. Here you can see all these, such as the Khudadat colony, Shahnawaz Bhutto colony, Shikarpur colony, Catholic colony, Parsi colony, Gulerana colony, Millat Nagar, Hassan Olia village, Doli Khata, Garden East and West, Alama Banori town, Patel Para, Golimar, Jamshed quarters, Martin quarters, and Lines area. So these are different, you can say, communities have developed their own settlements and residential areas. While foreign embassies shifted away from Karachi, and the city is still host to the numerous consulates and honorary consulates. Then Karachi of the 1960s was regarded as the economic role models around the world, with Seoul, South Korea borrowing from the city's second five-year master plan. So whatever the five-year plan that developed by us was used by the South Korea and Seoul. Karachi was recognized as the city of lights in 1960s and 70s for its vibrant nightlife. In 1970s saw major labor struggles in Karachi's industrial estates. In the 1980s and 1990s, saw an influx of thousands of Afghan refugees from the Soviet-Afghan war into Karachi, who were in turn followed in smaller numbers by refugees escaping from the post-revolution Iran. The typical development pattern of this post-colonial megacity shows a premier economic status, which contributed to an enormous increase in Karachi's population due to huge influx of job-seeking immigrants from the rural areas and from across the globe. Finally, if you look at the recent history of Karachi, it will be evident that the city size nearly doubled in last 2 decades of 20th century. The city's infrastructure is overburdened and it's breaking at its breaking point. Due to Kachiabadis or illegal settlements emerge out of the land grabbing of government's land, which ordinarily lack the supply of power, running water, and sanitation. The delivery of basic city services remain an ongoing problem, an unsolvable issue for the Karachi into 21st century. So this is the basis of our historical development of town planning, and we have to see what we can do for the future and what are the issues that we have to solve for the town planning of the Karachi in future. So let's look at Karachi's dominant environmental issues that are to be dealt through town planning. Karachi has many environmental issues, severely affecting its biophysical environment as well as health. The reason is industrialization as well as the environmental oversight by the decision makers. The various forms of the pollution have increased as Karachi, which has caused widespread environmental and health problems. Air pollution, lack of proper waste management infrastructure, and degradation of water bodies are the major environmental issues in Karachi. The Karachi's coastline, which stretches over 130 kilometers, is facing severe pollution due to combination of industrial, port, municipal, and transportation activities in the area. The coastline is being overwhelmed with the waterborne pollution being discharged in the shipping process into the marine environment. In the Korangi industrial area, 2,500 industrial units, including 170 tanneries, dispose untreated waste into the Arabian Sea. The air in Karachi is rapidly polluted by the automobile smoke, especially rickshaws and buses and industrial emissions. Open burning of the garbage, house fires and other particles, but the government and environmental organizations seems non-serious to tackle the issue timely. The two-stroke engines as well as the defective or untuned vehicles are major polluters with carbon dioxide emissions. The defective vehicles using the substandard lubricant and are major emitters of sulfur dioxide and smoke. Automobiles operating on compressed natural gas and liquefied petroleum gas are major air polluters. Littering is the criminal throwing of the inappropriate man-made objects unremoved onto public and private properties. At least 10 millions of the gallons per day of raw, untreated water from Indus River is mixed with the treated water from Karachi Water and Sewerage Board in Karachi. Here you can see how our city of Karachi is facing with traffic congestion and wastewater disposal and solid waste disposal. And these are the Karachi's dominant environmental issues for town planning. Furthermore, let's look at the Karachi's housing situation and town planning and how the housing is being dealt here in city. Karachi is building upwards to house expanding population, but unregulated building left poor families at risk. Then there are the squatter settlements or Kachi Abadis as affordable housing option for the working class because where do they go? The properties price is very high. Now, Karachi seems ill-equipped to contend with its growing urban housing challenges for architects, urban designers, and urban regional planners, and town planners, and civil engineers. The International Institute of Environment and Development has highlighted the major urban land management and housing challenges confronting Karachi. The ad hoc mixture of real estate development and land speculation being undertaken in megacity and demonstrates present state of affairs not capable of meeting Karachi's urban housing needs. Each year, 500,000 people migrate to Karachi and city don't have mechanism to provide housing to them. So politically motivated land grabbing and the ineffective governance of overlapping land management agencies are a major problem in the city. Over a dozen land management authorities seem to be operating in Karachi, often with little coordination with other authorities. The city needs 80,000 housing units per year. The bureaucrats and ministers have discretionary powers over land which they use for patronage purposes. The powerful groups invest their money in the lucrative formal and informal real estate business of the city. The federal land owning agencies further interfere in the land related matters within the city. Thus, land has become a hotly contested issue in Karachi, which brings enormous profits and enables Karachi's different ethnic political parties to consolidate their hold in different areas of the city. The profit-driven financial speculation and the divisive ethnic politics often fuel conflict over land and housing and adds to social unrest within the Karachi. Such murky imperatives make it difficult to implement existing laws and to introduce measures for improving the housing, social and environmental conditions within the city. Now let's look at Karachi's transport situation and town planning concerning transport in the city. Karachi is the terminus of Pakistan's railway system which mainly serves to transport goods between Karachi and the upcountry. Karachi's airport provides international services. The port of Karachi is one of the busiest east of Suez. Various urban transportation projects, plans and proposals implemented in Karachi. However, due to ever increasing population demand, which is increasing day by day, requires many such public transportation projects to be executed and implemented as per urban transportation planning vision for Karachi in 2030. This is the plan that you are looking at, is the vision for the future planning, transportation planning. The city needs a champion of taking such a huge undertaking with provincial and federal government. The lack of regulation has made public transport sector of Karachi chaotic and messy, resulting in immense problems for the millions of commuters of this megacity, and the inept bureaucracy still has no clue about how to tackle this serious urban social issue. This causes crowds of commuters waiting at bus stops and dangerously overcrowding minibuses with commuters even sitting on their rooftops. The main reason of the failure of public transport in Karachi is lack of socio-political pressure by people. The people of Karachi never tried to change the urban transport culture of their own city. This has made this megacity a city of rickshaws and chinchis. A vision of a modern urban public transport culture is required in the city. Karachi needs a public transport of mass transit railway, bus rapid transit, and traffic control systems. Now let's look at Karachi's water supply situation and town planning. Karachi is a city of around 20 million people, but water distribution to the residents of the metropolis is poorly managed. The water requirement for Karachi's population at the rate of 25 gallons per person a day work out to 400 million gallons a day. Even if the population is increased to include the peri-urban areas and villages around the Karachi, the water requirement works out to be 450 mgd. The currently supply of water is 650 mgd. This indicates sufficient availability of the water in Karachi is evident. Even then, many localities are facing on a acute water shortage. Residents of Karachi buy water from tankers which sell water at extortionate prices. It is an estimate that the 30% of the Karachi's water is stolen by water tanker. The main reason of the failure of water supply in Karachi is lack of control over tanker and hydrant mafia. Major issues are line losses, theft, obsolete water supply infrastructure, and need to upgrade and replacement of the stock. The people of Karachi never tried to change the urban water wasting culture from their daily life. For the sake of making the water in Karachi more sustainable, the people should group together and save water, stop its misuse, and stimulate more smooth water management for the supply. Water is not only meant to serve the local domestic needs, but the huge chunk of water is issued in the industrial sector in Karachi. The bulk water supply line is also given to them, which need to be revisited. Karachi need a good water management strategy, stop theft, control of the tanker mafia, and water conservation at individual scale. Institutional scale, proper water metering and supply based on need should be evident. Here you can see the water situation and what are visually you can analyze by yourself that what is the crisis of water in city. Now let's look at the Karachi sewerage condition and the town planning. Lack of master planning and disregard for the control led to indiscriminate building generating sewerage. Development of housing occurs on top of the natural drainage channels, cause additional flooding during the heavy rainfall. This worsens sewage system in the city, which remain dependent on the stormwater drains. The stormwater drainage system consists of drains and nalas. The nalas are concrete-lined, open-air streams intended to redirect stormwater and designed to collect flood overflow in the monsoon season. In Karachi, there are 41 main drains and 160 kilometers of nalas make up the stormwater drainage system. There are informal drainage system of estimated 1,000 kilometers, individually made in the small scale. Unfortunately, it's a systematic wastewater dumping contaminates the nalas open flowing stormwater. The nala fed into three sites: the Mali River, the Lyari River, and the Karachi Harbour, thus eventually drifting to the Arabian Sea. The nalas release untreated raw sewage directly into the waterways. Ultimately, the city dumps 200 million gallons of untreated wastewater and up to 1,000 tons of the solid waste into the Karachi Harbour every day. Both surface water and groundwater sources are increasingly polluted due to largely to the disposal of the untreated domestic and industrial wastewater to rivers, nalas and irrigation system. This is an inadequate sewage treatment capacity of KWSP and it frequently operates ineffectively. Next, let's look at the solid waste management and town planning in Karachi. Karachi is the biggest city of Pakistan, having a population of approximately 24 million now. Statistics indicate that on daily basis, about 12,000 tons of solid waste is generated in Karachi alone, of which 40% can found in the city streets, 20% the rainwater drains, and nadi and nalas of the city. Improper management of solid waste causing spread of infectious diseases and environmental pollution. The solid waste management combines all activities performed in order to keep the city clean on a regular basis and handle waste collection and disposal, sewerage, waste water treatment, recycling, and health and hygiene issues. The citizens of Karachi are dissatisfied with the current strategies of solid waste management implemented by the 6 municipalities. Most people think that the municipalities are ill-equipped to handle the developing situation of the substantial waste in the city, due to which they have to confront many problems. The municipalities, on the other hand, were found to be underfunded and ineffective in the Department of Solid Waste Management, and therefore they lack proper instruments to ensure their efficiency. Residents of Karachi are also contributing element in the growing waste problem by means of their participation in activities such as illegal dumping and violation of the laws. With the ratio of the solid waste increasing per day in the urban center, there is an immediate need to implement major steps to improve the current situation. The more consolidated strategy for solid waste management needs to be designed and implemented, which streamlines the processes of waste collection and disposal. Karachi has the potential to generate 300 megawatts electricity from this garbage. And we are not tapping this, I don't know why. Furthermore, the citizens of Karachi also need to be educated on playing their respective role in reducing the quantity of solid waste through the promotion of habits such as recycling of the solid waste that they generate. Now, the final issue that is very important for town planning in Karachi is law and order situation. From late 40s to late 70s, in 30 years, Karachi remained a world's largest pro-poor city with peace and harmony between socio-communal and the socio-political groups. However, the final quarter of 20th century brought a huge wave of urban violence and crime to the Karachi in the form of ethnic violence between native communities and more recent immigrants and migrants. Karachi was also beset by the sharp ethnic, sectarian, and political conflict in the 1980s with the arrival of the Afghan migrants and weaponry during the Soviet-Afghan War. Now it has changed the whole social character and dynamics of the city with migrant population and peace and tranquility of the city vanquished instantaneously. In the late 1980s and 1990s, Karachi was rocked by the social and political conflict with while crime rates and population drastically increased with new social and political groups that emerged during this period. As a repercussion, an increased rate of both simple crime and organized brigandage begun in the city with socio-political support and low law enforcement power. Now you can see the images, how beautiful the city was. Then riots also broke out in Karachi in 1992 and social harmony of city tarnished and crime increased exponentially. The severity of lawlessness in Karachi promoted the government to initiate a crackdown on the crime in the city in 1992, but this campaign did not begin to see significant results until the end of that decade. As a repercussion, the city had become well known for its high rates of violent crime, but recorded crime sharply decreased following a crackdown on the focus operation initiated in 2013 against criminals. The city's murder rate in 2015 hold decreased by 75% compared to 2013, and kidnapping decreased by 90% with the improved security environment, triggering sharp increase in real estate prices. And you can see that prices of properties increase a lot. This drive of law enforcement by a state institution with no socio-political influence is still ongoing, and it is expected that soon Karachi will become a crime-free, guns-free, and criminal-free city. And you see, the people are not responsive much, and there is you can see the uh, thing on the wall. What is written? The Museum of Non-Participation. People are not participating to improve their cities. There is a La Taluki Ka Ajaib Ghar in the 90s to 2019. People must, be aware and improve the city. Now let's look at this state's response to the issues. In housing, there are actors in the Federal Ministry of Planning and Development, the Environmental and Urban Affairs Division of the Ministry of the Housing and Works, the Provincial Physical Planning and Housing Department, House Building Finance Corporation, and private developers, Abad Association of Builders and Developers, Sindh Kachia Authority. These are all people who are available. Then there are projects of Urban Development Authority schemes, area development schemes, and three Marla scheme. In transport, state regulates local transport, goods transport, buses, minibuses, coaches, contract carriers, taxi, rickshaw, Uber, Kareem, Chinchi, private cars, trucks, bikes, cycles on urban roads of Karachi. State constructs highways, railways, waterways, road network, underpasses, overhead bridges, pedestrian bridges, and footpaths. And the state makes transport policy. State work with the public-private partnership and make mega projects in Karachi mass transit, for example, a Karachi Circular Railway or a bus rapid transit in Karachi. Concerning water supply, sewerage and solid waste management, the municipal corporations, town committees, water and sewerage authority, WASA, the Karachi Water and Sewerage Board, KWSB, work for the above issues and develop different projects, water supply schemes, sewage treatment plants, waste collection schemes on public-private partnership basis. Concerning law and order, police and rangers along with other security agencies look after the law and order and conducted Karachi operation and successfully controlled the city. The state also regulates private security services. So you can see that there are institutions, there are people who are working for the city. Finally, just wanted to say that I love this city of Karachi, and also I wanted you to love it with your heart and you study hard, work hard, and for the betterment of the city, and we can together make this city a compassionate city. These are the references of different books written on Karachi by different authors that I have consulted. There are around 15 books. You can also read these books and you can verify whatever I have said in lecture, because these words which I have said in lecture is not mine, but these coming from these references. Finally, thank you very much for listening to the lecture. For detailed lecture notes, visit my blog www.onplugginglectures.blogspot.com. Once again, thank you very much. Good luck and goodbye.